Lisa Grant stepped off the small ship onto the ground of the new planet. Her heavy boots made a soft sound on the strange purple sand. 2 suns hung in the orange sky above her head. She looked around at the tall plants that moved in the wind. They were purple and blue, nothing like the trees back on Earth. Lisa was a scientist who studied animals. She worked for the human space program. Her job was to find out what kinds of animals lived on this planet. The planet had a long name that was hard to say, so everyone just called it Planet X7. Other humans had tried to live on this planet before. They all failed. Something always killed them. The report said it was a type of animal, a very dangerous animal, but the planet had good air and water, so humans wanted to try again. Lisa carried a small bag with her tools. She had cameras and computers to study any animals she found. She also had food and water for 3 days. A small camp was already set up near her landing spot. Other scientists would join her in a few days. The first day was quiet. Lisa walked around the area near her camp. She took pictures of the strange plants. She found some small bugs that looked like tiny lights. They glowed blue and green as they flew around. She caught a few in special containers to study later. On the second day, Lisa heard a sound. It was like a mix between a dog's bark and a bird's call. She followed the sound deeper into the forest of purple trees. The sound got louder as she walked. Then she saw it. The animal was about as tall as her waist. It had black fur that was very smooth. Bright stripes of light ran along its body. The stripes changed colors from blue to green to yellow. It had 6 legs, each ending in sharp claws. Its head was long like a wolf's, but bigger. When it opened its mouth, Lisa could see many sharp teeth. Lisa knew right away what this was. This was a baby version of the animal that had killed all the other humans. The reports called them death stalkers. Even the babies were supposed to be very dangerous. The young animal looked at Lisa with bright yellow eyes. It did not seem afraid. Instead, it seemed curious. It walked closer to Lisa, moving like a cat. Its glowing stripes got brighter. Lisa stood very still. She did not want to scare the animal or make it angry. She watched as it came closer and closer. The animal sniffed the air around her. It made soft sounds like a puppy trying to talk. Then the animal did something that surprised Lisa. It started to play. It ran in circles around her. It jumped over small rocks. It even rolled on its back in the purple sand. Lisa realized that this animal was very young. It was acting like a puppy or kitten. The young animal came up to Lisa's feet. It sniffed her boots. Then, without warning, it opened its mouth and bit down on her boot. Its teeth were very sharp, but they did not go through the thick material. The animal tugged on her boot like a dog playing with a toy. Lisa looked down at the animal. She knew she should be scared. This was supposed to be one of the most dangerous animals in space, but all she saw was a young animal that wanted to play. The animal bit her boot harder. Its teeth started to make small holes in the material. Lisa knew she had to do something. Without thinking, she did what she would do with any bad puppy. Lisa pointed her finger at the animal. She looked it right in the eyes. In a firm voice, she said, "No, sit." What happened next shocked Lisa so much that she almost fell down. The dangerous alien animal immediately let go of her boot. It sat down on the ground just like a dog. It even made a whining sound like a puppy that had been scolded. The bright stripes on its body changed to a soft blue color. Lisa stared at the animal. The animal stared back at her. They both seemed confused by what had just happened. Lisa tried to understand what she had just seen. This was supposed to be a killer animal. These animals had destroyed entire human settlements. But this one was sitting on the ground like a trained pet. She decided to test it again. She pointed at the ground next to the animal and said, "Stay." The animal did not move. It just sat there looking at her with its big yellow eyes. Lisa took a step back. The animal stayed where it was. She took another step. Still, the animal did not move. It was following her command just like a well-trained dog. For the next hour, Lisa experimented with the animal. Every time she gave it a command in a firm voice, it obeyed. When she said come, it came to her. When she said down, it lay down on the ground. When she said stay, it stayed perfectly still. Lisa could not believe what was happening. She was giving orders to one of the most dangerous animals in the galaxy, and it was listening to her. As the day got darker, the animal's stripes began to glow brighter. Lisa realized it was probably time for the animal to go home. She pointed toward the forest and said, "Go home." The animal looked at her for a moment. Then it made a soft sound and walked away into the trees. Before it disappeared, it looked back at Lisa one more time. Its stripes flashed in what almost looked like a goodbye. Lisa walked back to her camp with her mind racing. She had just made friends with a baby Deathstalker, and somehow the animal had listened to her commands. She knew that everything humans thought about these animals might be wrong. That night, Lisa could not sleep. She kept thinking about the animal and its bright stripes. Somewhere in the forest, she could hear it calling to others of its kind. She wondered if they would all listen to human commands the same way. She would find out soon enough. The next morning, Lisa woke up to find the young animal waiting outside her tent. It was sitting quietly, just like she had taught it the day before. Its glowing stripes were a soft green color. When it saw her, the stripes got brighter and changed to yellow. Lisa decided to call the animal Spark because of its bright lights. She gave Spark some of her food to try. The animal sniffed it carefully, then ate it. Spark seemed to like the taste. Later that day, the other scientists arrived. Dr. Peter Shaw was the leader of the science team. He was an older man who had studied aliens for many years. Jake Murphy was their security guard. He carried a big gun and looked very serious all the time. When Peter saw Spark sitting next to Lisa, he almost dropped his equipment. "Lisa, get away from that thing right now," Peter said in a scared voice. "Those animals are killers. It could tear you apart." Lisa shook her head. "This one is different, Peter. Watch this." She pointed at Spark and said, "Sit." Spark immediately sat down. "Down," she said, and Spark lay down on the ground. Peter and Jake stared with their mouths open. They could not believe what they were seeing. "How did you do that?" Jake asked. He kept his hand on his gun, ready to shoot if the animal attacked. "I don't know," Lisa said honestly. "I just talked to it like I would talk to a dog. And it listened." Peter wanted to study Spark right away. He took pictures and recorded videos. He ran tests on the animal's blood and fur. Spark let him do all of this without fighting. Whenever Peter got too rough, Lisa would tell Spark to stay calm, and it would. For 3 days, everything was peaceful. Spark played with Lisa during the day and disappeared into the forest at night. Peter learned a lot about the animal. He found out that Spark was very smart. The animal could learn new commands quickly. It could even solve simple puzzles. Jake was still worried. "This is just one young animal," he told Lisa. "What happens when the adults show up? They won't be as friendly." Lisa hoped Jake was wrong, but on the 4th day, her hopes were crushed. Lisa woke up to the sound of Spark making loud, scared noises. She looked out of her tent and saw something that made her blood turn cold. 7 huge animals stood at the edge of their camp. These were adult Deathstalkers, and they were massive. Each one was taller than a man and much wider. Their muscles bulged under their black fur. Their glowing stripes pulsed with angry red and orange colors. Their teeth were as long as Lisa's fingers. These were the animals that had killed entire teams of human soldiers. They looked exactly like the monsters from the reports. Jake grabbed his gun and started shooting. The bullets hit the animals but did not seem to hurt them much. The animals just got angrier. Their stripes turned bright red. They started to move toward the humans with slow hunting steps. Peter was trying to call for help on his radio, but no one answered. They were too far from the main ship. Lisa looked at Spark. The young animal was hiding behind her legs, shaking with fear. The adult animals were probably its family. They had come to take it away from the humans. One of the huge animals, bigger than the others, stepped forward. This was clearly the leader of the group. Its stripes were brighter than the others, and it had scars on its face. It looked directly at Lisa with glowing yellow eyes. Lisa knew she was about to die. These animals had killed armed soldiers. She was just a scientist with no weapons. But she also knew she had to try something. She thought about how Spark had listened to her. Maybe, just maybe, the adult animals would listen too. Lisa stepped forward. Jake tried to grab her arm, but she pulled away. She walked toward the giant animals with her heart beating so fast it hurt. "Lisa, no," Peter shouted. "Get back here." But Lisa kept walking. She stopped about 10 feet away from the lead animal. It was so big that it could bite her head off with one snap of its jaws. Lisa looked up at the huge creature. She tried to make her voice sound strong and confident, even though she was terrified inside. "Sit," she said in the loudest, firmest voice she could manage. For a moment, nothing happened. The giant animal just stared at her. Its red stripes pulsed angrily. Lisa thought it was going to attack. Then slowly the huge animal sat down. The other 6 animals looked confused. They looked at their leader, then at Lisa, then back at their leader. One by one, they also sat down. Lisa could not believe it had worked. Behind her, she heard Peter gasp. Jake's gun fell from his hands and hit the ground with a clang, but Lisa was not done yet. She pointed at the ground in front of the animals and said, "Stay." All 7 massive Deathstalkers stayed exactly where they were. Their angry red stripes slowly changed to calmer blue and green colors. Lisa turned around to look at her teammates. Peter was staring at her like she was magic. Jake looked like he might faint. "How?" Peter whispered. "How is this possible?" Lisa did not have an answer. She was just as shocked as they were. She had just given orders to the most dangerous animals in space, and they had obeyed her. Spark ran up to Lisa and rubbed against her legs. The young animal seemed happy that the fighting had stopped. It made soft chirping sounds at the adult animals. They made similar sounds back. Lisa realized that Spark was talking to its family. It was probably telling them that Lisa was safe, that she was a friend. The lead animal stood up slowly. Lisa tensed, ready to run, but the animal just walked over to Spark. It sniffed the young animal carefully, checking to make sure it was not hurt. Then it looked at Lisa again. This time the look was different. It was not angry or threatening. It was curious, like Spark had been when they first met. Lisa decided to try something. She held out her hand toward the big animal, like she would do with a strange dog. The animal stepped closer and sniffed her hand. Its nose was cold and wet. After a few seconds, the animal made a deep rumbling sound. Lisa thought it might be purring like a giant cat. "I think it likes you," Peter said quietly. Lisa smiled. "I think so too." The animals stayed near the camp for the rest of the day. They did not attack or threaten anyone. They just watched the humans with curious eyes. When Lisa gave them commands, they followed them. When she said go, they went. When she said come back, they came back. As the sun began to set, the adult animals started to leave. One by one, they disappeared into the forest. Only Spark stayed behind. That night, Lisa, Peter, and Jake sat around their campfire trying to understand what had happened. "We need to report this," Peter said. "This changes everything we know about these animals." Jake nodded. "If humans can control these things, we might actually be able to live on this planet." Lisa looked out into the dark forest. She could see glowing lights moving between the trees. The Deathstalkers were out there watching and waiting, but for the first time since arriving on the planet, she was not afraid. She had learned something important that day. Sometimes the most dangerous things are not what they seem to be. 2 weeks later, Lisa sat in the science lab on the big spaceship called the Endeavour. The ship was floating in space above the planet. Scientists from all over human space had come to study what Lisa had discovered. Dr. Amy Foster was a doctor who studied how minds work. She had been asking Lisa hundreds of questions about the animals. Amy was very excited about what Lisa had learned. "Tell me again exactly what you did when you first met the young animal," Amy said. She was writing notes on her computer. Lisa had told this story many times now, but she told it again. "I just pointed at it and said no and sit like I would with a dog." "And it listened," Amy nodded. "And when the adult animals came, you did the same thing?" "Yes, but I was much more scared that time," Lisa said. "I tried to sound confident and strong even though I was terrified inside." Amy smiled. "That might be the key, Lisa. I think I know why this works." Captain Roy Brooks was also in the room. He was the leader of the ship and all the humans on it. He wanted to understand if these animals could be useful for human colonies. "Explain it to us, Dr. Foster," the captain said. Amy stood up and walked to the big screen on the wall. She showed pictures of the animals' brains that they had taken with special machines. "These animals have very unusual brains," Amy said. "Look at this part here." She pointed to a section that glowed bright blue. "This is bigger than in most animals. It controls how they react to leadership and dominance." Lisa leaned forward to look closer. "What does that mean?" "It means these animals are designed by nature to follow strong leaders," Amy explained. "They need someone to tell them what to do. Without a leader, they become confused and aggressive." Captain Brooks frowned. "But why would they follow humans? We're not their species." Amy showed another picture on the screen. This one showed human brain patterns. "Humans are very good at being leaders. We have been pack leaders for millions of years on Earth. When we talk with confidence and give clear commands, we sound exactly like what these animals expect from an alpha leader." Lisa thought about this. "So when I pointed at Spark and told it to sit, I was acting like the leader of its pack?" Exactly, Amy said. And these animals are programmed by their evolution to obey the strongest, most confident leader they meet. Peter Shaw had been listening quietly. Now he spoke up. That explains why other humans failed on this planet. They probably tried to fight the animals or run away. They never tried to lead them. Amy nodded. Fear makes you seem weak to these animals. Confidence makes you seem strong. Lisa succeeded because she acted like a leader, not like prey. Over the next few days, they tested Amy's theory. Other humans tried to give commands to Spark and some adult animals that had started visiting the camp. The results were very interesting. When Jake tried to give commands while he was scared, the animals did not listen. When Peter tried but spoke in a weak voice, they ignored him. But when Lisa spoke with confidence, or when others copied her exact tone and body language, the animals obeyed. Dr. Karen Wells was another scientist studying the animals. She made an important discovery about their glowing stripes. The stripes are how they communicate, Karen explained to the group. Red means angry or aggressive. Blue and green mean calm and peaceful. Yellow means excited or happy. Purple means confused. Lisa had noticed this too. Spark's stripes are usually yellow when we play together, but they turn blue when I give him commands. Blue means they accept you as their leader, Karen said. It's like a salute or a bow. The scientists also learned that these animals were much smarter than anyone had thought. They could learn complex commands. They could work together to solve problems. They could even use simple tools. Spark became the first animal to learn human hand signals. Lisa taught it to come, go, stay, and hunt using just gestures. Soon, Spark was teaching these signals to other young animals. Captain Brooks was very interested in this progress. Could we train these animals to help protect human colonies? He asked. Lisa was not sure she liked that idea. They're not weapons, Captain. They're intelligent beings. We should work with them, not use them, Amy agreed. Lisa is right. These animals could be our partners, not our tools. They're strong and fast, and they know this planet better than we do. But they need leadership and direction. The captain thought about this. What if we could train humans to be better leaders for these animals? Could we build colonies where humans and these creatures live together? It was an exciting idea. Lisa spent more time with Spark and the other animals learning how they lived. She discovered that they had complex social groups. The young animals played and learned together. The adults hunted in teams and shared food. The elders taught the young ones important skills. They also had problems that humans could help solve. Some of their hunting grounds had been destroyed by natural disasters. Diseases sometimes spread through their groups. Predators from other planets sometimes invaded their territory. Lisa realized that humans and these animals could help each other. Humans had medicine and technology. The animals had strength and knowledge of the planet. She began working on a plan for cooperation instead of domination. But her plans were interrupted when alarms started blaring throughout the ship. Captain Brooks's voice came over the speakers. All hands to stations. We have incoming ships. Unknown vessels approaching fast. Lisa ran to the nearest window and looked out into space. She could see lights moving toward their ship. They were still far away, but they were getting closer quickly. Who could it be? Peter asked. Jake was checking his weapons. Pirates, maybe. Or hostile aliens, Amy looked worried. What if they're here for the animals? What if someone else knows about what we discovered? Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. If other aliens knew about the animals' abilities, they might want to capture them or use them for war. Captain Brooks came on the speakers again. All personnel return to the ship immediately. This is not a drill. Lisa looked down at the planet below. She could see Spark and the other animals gathered near the human camp. They seemed to sense that something was wrong. Their stripes were flashing in worried patterns. I have to warn them, Lisa said. Lisa, no, Peter said. We need to leave now. But Lisa was already running toward the shuttle bay. She had to get back to the planet. She had to protect her new friends. As her shuttle raced toward the planet's surface, she could see the strange ships getting closer to the Endeavor. They were sleek and silver, unlike any human ship she had ever seen. Whatever was coming, Lisa knew that the real test of the human-animal partnership was about to begin. Lisa's shuttle landed hard on the planet's surface. She could hear explosions in the sky above as the strange silver ships attacked the Endeavor. She ran toward the animal gathering where Spark and 20 other animals waited with their stripes flashing bright red with alarm. The big leader animal, whom Lisa had started calling Chief, approached her with urgent growling sounds. The animals could sense danger, but they did not understand what was happening. Lisa's radio crackled to life. Captain Brooks' voice was full of static and fear. "Lisa, get out of there now. These are Carthakian ships. They're hunters. They've been tracking these animals across multiple planets." Lisa's heart sank. The Carthakians were a race of alien hunters who traveled the galaxy looking for rare creatures to capture and sell. They were known to be brutal and efficient. "They're landing ground troops," the captain continued. "Dozens of ships heading for your location. We can't help you. Our ship is damaged." Lisa looked at the animals around her. They trusted her to lead them. But how could she protect them from an entire army of alien hunters? Through the trees, she could see lights approaching fast. The Carthakian ships were landing in the forest around them. Soon hunters with energy weapons and capture nets would surround the animals. Chief made a deep rumbling sound and started moving toward the forest, ready to fight. The other adult animals followed him. Their stripes turned from red to black, which Lisa had learned meant they were preparing for battle. "Wait," Lisa called out. Chief stopped and looked at her. "Don't fight them alone. They have advanced weapons." But Lisa realized she was thinking about this all wrong. The animals did not need to fight the hunters alone. They had something the Carthakians had never faced before. They had human leadership. Lieutenant Ben Clark came running out of the forest. He was a young soldier who had stayed on the planet to guard the camp. He was carrying a rifle and looked very worried. "Lisa, we need to run," Ben said. "I've seen their ships. There are too many of them." Lisa shook her head. "No, Ben, we're not running. We're going to fight." Ben stared at her. "Fight? Lisa, there are hundreds of them. And they have weapons that can stun these animals from far away." "That's exactly why we're going to win," Lisa said. She was starting to understand what they needed to do. The Carthakians know how to hunt individual animals, but they don't know how to fight organized packs with human leadership. She turned to the animals. Chief was watching her carefully, waiting for orders. All the other animals were also looking at her. Their lives depended on her decisions. Lisa took a deep breath and pointed toward the northern forest. "Chief, take 10 animals and circle around to the north. Wait for my signal." She used the hand gestures she had taught them along with her spoken commands. Chief understood immediately. He selected 10 of the fastest animals and disappeared into the trees. She pointed to another group. "Team 2, go south. Stay hidden until I call you." This group also moved out quickly. Ben watched in amazement as Lisa organized the animals like a military unit. How are they understanding complex battle plans? "They're much smarter than anyone thought," Lisa said. "And they trust me to lead them well." The sound of Carthakian vehicles was getting closer. Lisa could see lights moving through the trees. The hunters were spreading out to surround the area, just like they always did when hunting animals. But this time the animals were ready. Lisa used her radio to contact the few humans still on the planet. "Dr. Wells, are you there?" Karen's voice came through clearly. "I'm here, Lisa. I'm hiding near the river with 2 other scientists." "Good, when the fighting starts, use your flare gun to create a distraction from the east." "Understood." Lisa looked at Spark and the remaining animals. These were mostly young ones who were fast but not as strong as the adults. "Spark, your job is to be my messenger. I need you to carry signals between the teams." Spark's stripes flashed yellow with excitement. The young animal loved having important jobs. The first Carthakian hunters appeared at the edge of the clearing. They were tall, thin aliens wearing dark armor. They carried strange weapons that glowed with blue energy. Lisa counted at least 20 of them, with more coming through the trees. The lead hunter raised its weapon and fired at the nearest animal. A blue net shot out and wrapped around the creature. The animal fell down, unconscious but not hurt. "Now they know we're here," Ben whispered. Lisa waited until more hunters entered the clearing. She wanted as many as possible to be in the open before she gave the signal. When about 30 hunters were visible, Lisa raised her hand high in the air. This was the signal she had taught all the animals. The forest exploded into action. Chief's team attacked from the north, moving so fast that the hunters could not track them. The animals used their natural camouflage and knowledge of the terrain to strike and disappear before the hunters could react. The southern team attacked the hunters from behind, cutting off their escape route. Karen's flare gun lit up the eastern forest, making the hunters think there was another threat from that direction. In the middle of it all, Lisa coordinated the attacks using hand signals that Spark carried to each team. When she pointed left, Chief's team moved left. When she raised her fist, everyone attacked at once. The Carthakian hunters had never faced anything like this. They were used to hunting scared, disorganized animals. They were not prepared for coordinated pack tactics directed by human strategy. Ben joined the fight, using his rifle to disable hunter weapons from long range. "This is incredible!" he shouted over the noise of battle. "They're fighting like a real army." But the battle was not over. More Carthakian ships were landing, bringing fresh hunters with heavier weapons. Lisa realized they needed to end this quickly before they were overwhelmed. She had an idea, but it was very dangerous. "Chief," she called out. The big animal appeared beside her instantly. "I need you to trust me completely. We're going to do something that seems crazy." Lisa explained her plan using gestures and simple words. Chief's stripes flashed purple with confusion, then blue with understanding and acceptance. Lisa climbed onto Chief's back. She had never ridden one of the animals before, but Chief held still as she found her balance. "Lisa, what are you doing?" Ben shouted. "Ending this," Lisa replied. Chief began to run, carrying Lisa toward the largest group of hunters. The other animals followed, creating a massive charge directly at the enemy. The hunters raised their weapons, but they hesitated. They had never seen a human riding one of their target animals. They did not know what to do. In that moment of confusion, Lisa stood up on Chief's back and shouted at the top of her lungs, "Stop! All of you, stop fighting!" Her voice carried across the battlefield with absolute authority. Every animal immediately stopped attacking and sat down, even though they were in the middle of a fight. The sudden silence was shocking. The Carthakian hunters looked around in confusion. Their prey had just stopped fighting and was sitting calmly in front of them. Lisa looked down at the lead hunter from her position on Chief's back. "These animals are under human protection now," she said in the firmest voice she could manage. "If you want them, you'll have to go through us." The hunter raised its weapon toward Lisa, but then something unexpected happened. Chief and all the other animals stood up and moved to surround the hunters. They did not attack, but their message was clear. If the hunters hurt Lisa, they would face the wrath of the entire pack. The lead hunter looked around at the organized animals and the confident human who commanded them. After a long moment, it lowered its weapon. The first battle between humans and Carthakians was over, and the humans had won without firing a single shot. 6 months after the battle with the Carthakians, Lisa stood on the observation deck of the new space station orbiting planet X7. Through the large windows, she could see human ships and alien vessels working together in space. It was a sight that would have been impossible to imagine just a year ago. The defeat of the Carthakian hunters had become famous throughout human space. News of the animal whisperer who could command the galaxy's most dangerous predators spread to every human colony. Scientists, soldiers, and colonists all wanted to learn Lisa's methods. Commander Nick Davis had arrived 3 months ago with a full colonial fleet. He was a practical man who understood the value of what Lisa had discovered. Instead of trying to control the animals, he had worked with Lisa to build a true partnership. "The reports are in from all the new settlements," Nick told Lisa as they watched ships land on the planet below. "Every human colony that follows your training methods is thriving. The animals are not just protecting us, they're helping us build better communities." Lisa smiled as she watched Spark playing with human children in one of the settlements. The young animal had grown much larger, but it was still as playful as ever. It had become the first official animal ambassador, helping new humans learn how to communicate with its species. Dr. Amy Foster approached them carrying a datapad. She had been studying the partnership between humans and animals for months now, documenting everything they learned. "I've got the final results from the Interspecies Cooperation Institute," Amy said excitedly. "We've successfully trained over 200 humans in animal leadership techniques. The success rate is incredible." The institute had been Lisa's idea. She realized that not every human could naturally command the animals the way she did, but most humans could learn the right combination of confidence, clarity, and respect that the animals responded to. "What's the key factor for success?" Nick asked. Amy consulted her notes. "Interestingly, it's not about being loud or aggressive. The humans who succeed best are those who project calm confidence and genuine care for the animal's well-being. It's about being a good leader, not a dominating one." Lisa nodded. "The animals can sense if you really care about them or if you just want to use them. They only follow leaders they trust. Through the window, they could see one of the most successful human-animal teams at work. Captain Ben Clark, who had fought alongside Lisa in the first battle, was now leading a joint exploration mission. His team of humans and animals was mapping the dangerous northern continent of the planet. Ben's team discovered 3 new mineral deposits last week. Nick said, "The animals know this planet better than any scanner we have. They're showing us resources and safe paths that would have taken us years to find on our own." But the partnership went beyond just practical benefits. Dr. Karen Wells had documented something even more important. The animals and humans were developing genuine friendships. Lisa watched as a group of young animals played with human children in the settlement below. The children were learning the animals' light language while the animals learned human games. They had created new forms of play that neither species had invented alone. "Dr. Grant, we have an incoming message from Earth," a technician announced. "It's from the Galactic Council." Lisa felt a flutter of nervousness. The Galactic Council was made up of representatives from many alien species. They had been watching the human-animal partnership with great interest and some concern. The large screen in the observation deck flickered to life. Ambassador Zextai, a tall blue alien with 4 arms, appeared on the screen. Behind him, Lisa could see representatives from a dozen other species. "Dr. Grant," the ambassador said in his translator-filtered voice, "the council has completed its investigation of your unique situation." Lisa straightened her shoulders. "What have you concluded, Ambassador?" "We have never seen anything like this before," Zextai continued. "A predator species voluntarily cooperating with potential prey. Most species achieve cooperation through treaties and negotiations. You have achieved it through, what do you call it? Leadership?" "That's right," Lisa said. "We don't control them. We lead them. There's a big difference." The ambassador's expression was hard to read, but he seemed curious rather than hostile. "The Council has voted. We officially recognize the Human-Animal Alliance on Planet X7. You may proceed with your colonization plans." Lisa felt a wave of relief. Recognition from the Galactic Council meant that other alien species could not interfere with their settlement. However, the ambassador continued, "We have one request. Several Council species are interested in learning your methods. Could you teach other aliens to work with these animals as you do?" Lisa thought about this carefully. Teaching humans had been challenging enough. Teaching aliens would be much more difficult. "I'm willing to try," Lisa said finally. "But I think the animals will have to decide for themselves who they want to follow." Over the next few weeks, representatives from various alien species arrived to study the human-animal partnership. The results were mixed but interesting. Some aliens, particularly those with pack-hunting backgrounds, could learn to command the animals with some success. Others, especially those from very different evolutionary paths, had much more difficulty. But the most surprising result came from the Vorthon delegation. The Vorthons were a peaceful species that had been enslaved by the Carthakians for centuries. When they met the animals, something unexpected happened. The animals immediately recognized the Vorthons as fellow victims of the Carthakians. Without any training at all, the animals accepted Vorthon refugees as part of their extended pack family. "It seems the animals choose their own friends," Lisa told Nick as they watched Vorthon children playing with animal cubs. "We can teach leadership skills, but we can't force relationships." The success of the Human-Animal Alliance had other consequences too. Several worlds that had been abandoned due to dangerous predators were now being reconsidered for colonization. If humans could learn to work with dangerous animals instead of fighting them, many more planets might become livable. Lisa received reports from survey teams across human space. On some worlds, the dangerous animals were too different from the Planet X7 species to respond to human leadership. But on others, similar partnerships were beginning to form. "We're starting a whole new chapter in how humans explore space," Amy told Lisa. "Instead of fighting everything we meet, we're learning to make friends." As the sun set over Planet X7, Lisa stood in the main settlement watching the daily gathering. This was when all the animals returned from their day's activities to share food and stories with their human partners. Spark, now fully grown and bearing the bright stripes of a pack leader, approached Lisa with a group of young animals following behind. These were the next generation, born after the alliance began. They had never known a time when humans and animals were enemies. Chief, the old pack leader, lay resting under a tree. He was getting slower with age, but his bright stripe still commanded respect from every animal in the settlement. He had become something like a grandfather figure to both the animals and many of the human children. Lisa scratched Spark behind his ears, something he still enjoyed despite his adult dignity. His stripes glowed soft blue, the color of contentment and trust. "You know," Lisa said to Nick, who had joined her for the evening gathering, "when I first pointed my finger at a young animal and told it to sit, I never imagined it would lead to all this." Nick looked around at the bustling settlement where humans and animals worked, played, and lived together in harmony. Sometimes the smallest gestures create the biggest changes. As the stars came out above planet X7, Lisa felt a deep sense of satisfaction. She had not just discovered a new world, she had discovered a new way for different species to live together. The galaxy would never be the same. In the distance, she could hear the sound of young animals and human children playing together, their laughter mixing with the gentle rumbling of contented animals. It was the sound of a future that no one had dared to imagine. The predator cubs that had once been feared across the galaxy were now companions, protectors, and friends. And it had all started with one simple command: sit.